Here now with reaction is Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett and someone who was in the courtroom today, attorney to former President Trump, Alina Habba. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Greg, I want to start with you because, oh my goodness, Hillary Clinton personally signed off on this. Personally, Hillary Clinton herself.
She personally approved the scheme to peddle phony collusion information to the media. That dropped like a bombshell by her own campaign manager, Robbie Mook. And it seems so incredibly foolish for the defense of all people to have called Mook to the witness stand. Is fundamental in trying cases. Never call a witness to the stand. That only helps you a little bit, because the downside of hurting you tremendously is quite severe. And sure enough, that's what happened. I mean, Mook helped a little bit marginally by saying, well, we, the campaign, didn't put up Sussman going to the FBI to lie to them. What the campaign intended is irrelevant. What's material is what Sussman's intent was. And his intent has already been demonstrated by the evidence and the testimony. He put his lie to the FBI in writing. So now he's only left with some rather vacuous defenses. He can say, well, the lie was an itsy-bitsy lie. That is, it wasn't material as required under the law. That's nonsense, because the FBI has said, are you kidding? We wouldn't have even had the meeting with Sussman had we known the truth. He can also claim the whoops defense. Gee, I didn't intend to lie. I just misspoke, made a little bit of a mistake. That's not going to fly either. And finally, he's going to claim, I think, that the FBI figured out his lie. So if they knew it was a lie, how can that be a genuine lie under the law? That wouldn't normally work in front of a neutral and fair jury. But, Jason, this is Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it is Washington, D.C. And Alina, you were actually in the courtroom. What was the atmosphere like? How did the jury react? What happened in the atmosphere right there in the courtroom when it was revealed that Hillary Clinton herself approved of this scheme?
So we've all been watching this for days, and I plan on being there every single day to make sure I hear every bit of testimony. This was amazing. I never heard so many pens click and start immediately writing. I got reporters asking me for clarification. What did that mean? What did that mean? Are they in trouble? And I said, that was very big. That was very big. He just cut it right to the top. And thank you very much, Robbie Mook, for what you did today. Made it very clear there was a phone call. She paid Fusion GPS through her campaign, through her lawyers, and that she was actually told that there were papers provided that had not been verified, that she had not, and they said we had no DNS expertise. We just figured the media would take it and do their own vetting. Now, remember, the media that they went to was Slate. It was not the New York Times. It was not the Wall Street Journal, which maybe is a little bit more sophisticated. It was Slate. On top of that, this was the same time that she was deleting emails and that she was having her own problems with her servers. So she and her team have an October surprise. And this has been a real big theme by the Durham team. And it's exactly what happened. And then October 31st, ironically, she retweets Jake Sullivan's tweet that, oh my God, cybersecurity, crimes. Trump has a server with Alpha Bank. Complete lie.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a couple of quotes I want to highlight for everybody here. The first one, I think, is from Robbie Mook, who in his testimony, and look at what he said here. He said 2 or 3 of the most damaging days of the campaign were caused by Comey, not Trump. And the other one is very interesting, and this goes back a few months, actually, to Hillary Clinton. If the election were on October 27th, I'd be your president, Clinton said in May of 2017. Now, I happen to be the chairman of the Oversight Committee at the time that this happened, Greg, and the letter from Comey was actually addressed to me and some other members of Congress. And I thought about it, I looked at it, I spent about a half hour with my general counsel looking at it and decided that there was no classified information that the public had a right to know, and I released it. And boy, that sent them scrambling because Comey stepped in it again and gave us this information, and we gave it to the public.
Yeah, this is an attempt by Robbie Mook to inject politics into a case about evidence and the law to try to unduly influence this pro-Hillary Clinton jury, which we discovered during jury selection. And it's also rather disingenuous because Mook's trying to suggest that we would have never gone to the FBI with the collusion story. Well, in fact, declassified documents show that's exactly what they did. Moreover, James Comey, you'll recall, was Hillary Clinton's BFF. On July 5th, 2016, he stood before television cameras and spent about 10 or 15 minutes describing how she violated the law with her email server. And then, in a complete about-face in the course of 10 seconds, he said, but no reasonable prosecutor would ever bring such a case. Not his job. He's a law enforcement official. He's not a prosecutor. And in the end, the Department of Justice spanked him big time for an abuse of power, usurping the authority of the Attorney General. So this is Robbie Mook trying to turn a case about evidence and the law into pure politics for an acquittal.
Yeah, I actually thought Comey was wrong. For somebody he's not charging to go forward and spend 10 minutes telling her all the places that she broke the law, I got to tell you, honestly, I just think that was fundamentally wrong. Nevertheless, Lena, I want to go back to you because it all comes down to these 12 jurors as it relates to Sussman. What else can you tell us about the atmosphere, how the jurors are reacting to this? How is the prosecutor received? Is he the right person with the right message? Is it too much about Trump? What's going on there in the courtroom?
Sure. The prosecutor is actually, I think, doing a fantastic job. Durham's team has been very articulate. They went up, they were brief, and they had gotten what they needed at that point. And, the media and the non-legal entities that were in the room probably didn't follow it as well, but he was on top of it. What happened with the Sussman defense was there's been times that we've seen them become defensive. With Jim Baker, we've seen Berkowitz become very angry and remind Baker that, didn't you say Sussman was your friend? Didn't you say Sussman was your friend? And try and, in some ways, I think, intimidate him. And that was because Jim Baker said very clearly that Michael Sussman 100% said to me via text and in person that he was not there for any client. And that's really all they need to prove. There's only one count here. The jury is a Washington jury. We are not going to know what is going to happen with them until we see what their verdict is. But I do think it's becoming very evident. What happened was 100% wrong. They misled, they obstructed justice, and the entire FBI was in on it. And the campaign and the DNC.
Alina Habba and Greg Jarrett, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Hannity. We do appreciate it.